Alright, and with that, we are live. So, last we left off, you all had been enjoying your time at the circus for a bit. The circus trip ended a little bit differently than most of you expected. One of you kind of called it before it all went down. On Kerr was able to get a new instrument, and since you've now all had time to take at least a short rest since the like I said at the end of last session, you had time at least for a short rest. Depending on what you guys do starting out here, you guys can take a long rest too if you'd like. I don't know if that was decided upon or not. But upon fighting the toy maker, the ringmaster of the Top Cat Circus, you all were able to get her to yield, upon which it was explained to you that she was essentially Aaron's nanny the first time around after Aaron was born from Sylph and Gnome. She had sort of lost her nut being down here alone, empty nest syndrome to the extreme, and attempted to essentially sap joy from people around her, setting up a circus where the flow of time is weird and wonky. Many cat folks were dragged in from a nearby town and joined her circus. Enjoying themselves all by choice, but the effects of the joy and the magic trapped people in the alluring weald above, and so it was all sort of almost a curse at that point. But you convinced her to, well, not really convinced, but she yielded, and you got her to bring you to where Aaron is currently. She showed you that Aaron has a house, which they built together during the time that Aaron has been living down here with her. Like I said, time has been wonky, and she got a lot more time out of Aaron than you guys have at this point. But somehow it seems like there are memories that all of you sort of like are missing of your time down here, and Aaron recognizes you all, this new version of Aaron, not from anything before coming to the circus, but as if you were there the entire time that she was growing up, without realizing it. I had heard some voiced concern from Anna Kerr that potentially this meant that you had all been stuck down here for 20 years and hadn't realized. And I want to alleviate concern and say, sussing out what you can, looking at each other and various things, you can tell it's only been a couple of months that you've been down here, even though it still feels like it's only been one night that you were at the circus. Did somebody have a question? Sorry, I thought I heard a noise. But yeah, so you all, at the end of last session, were at Aaron's house. This idyllic cottagecore, vaporwave, sort of cozy, rainbow neon, dreamy landscape. In this picturesque fey landscape. There's sakura trees and ginkgo trees and rainbow leaves on iridescent flowers. Even the water seems to reflect rainbow around you. Light sort of like feeding down from all directions in the sky, as if the fake sun overhead is not what is supplying the light to you. And as session opens, I believe you were all asked if anyone wanted tea, and Arin is now bringing into the group a fresh pot of Darjeeling tea. I believe
I definitely want tea.
I believe Anakur was leaning against the outside, just next to the door. So you're all in this very 90s looking living room. It almost feels familiar, even though none of you have ever been to this place before. There's a sofa in this like off red, almost orange color. The carpet is like shag and soft. It looks sort of like grass, even though it's like shag carpet. There's a little coffee table, and although none of you recognize what it is, there's a TV in the corner. As you all sort of gather around the little coffee table, Arn pulls out some pillows for various people to sit on, makes everybody comfy and cozy, and she brings out this serving tray with a cute little white teapot with sunflowers painted on it, that just smells of like lovely tea. There's a jar of honey and a teacup for every one of you, all 6 people there, just in case Anakur decides to come in. There's little cubes of sugars, and then there's a little tray of scones. But Arin comes in and sets it down on the coffee table and sort of flops on the couch and goes, "Everybody make yourself comfy." And Rafflesera sits down on one of the pillows on the floor, cross-legged, setting her staff down behind her.
What's up,
I'm
Nat?
gonna go sit down on the couch, a couch that's way too big for me, and like make myself comfortable.
It's very easy. As you sit down on the couch, the plush velvet cushion almost feels like sitting on a cloud. You just sort of sink in a little bit.
I will pick up a cup of tea and begin drinking it, which will probably look interesting for a bird to drink tea.
Do I have an appropriate desire? Like a really big one to me.
Could you repeat that? You came in a little robotic.
Is the teacup appropriate or like one of those big soup bowls?
Yeah, she brings one in for you. How big is Mika, by the way? I don't know if we've established or not.
I think we were talking like 2 feet. So he's
Okay, so she's kind of small. Yeah, she brings in a teacup that's like the size for you. It looks like it's out of like an old dollhouse or something.
yeah. So I basically look like a little kid sitting there. Hey, that's cute. Okay, so I'm holding on to it. I'm drinking it.
Let's do something fun for Mika here. Go ahead and make a history check.
I rolled it, but it's not. What just happened? No. Ah, I lost connection, and I'm probably because okay, you said history check, right? There you go.
You like take a sip off of this tea, and you think back on the knowledge that you have of, like tea in general, and you recognize that this is like a very good Darjeeling tea. It's a first flush, probably from like some sort of mountainous region in the foothills.
Oh, this is good. That's fancy.
Valen is gonna eagerly pick up a tea, and as she does, she puts in like more than a few sugar cubes and a couple scones for herself.
Yeah, as you sip on the tea with the sugar in it, it tastes like a fresh summer's day in a hilly side right after the rain.
Alright, you did really good with brewing this tea. My compliments to that.
Oh, it's nothing. The leaves do most of the work.
Well, I think it actually takes great skill to make it this good.
She sort of smiles and goes, "Well, you were a good teacher, Mika."
I'm going to both kind of blush under my fur and also wonder when I had the chance to teach her. But not say anything.
Anakor is going to say something. What do you mean by Paul?
Could you repeat that? It cut off on you.
What do you mean by she taught you?
Well, I mean, you all sort of taught me various things while we were at the circus.
Mhm.
Can you would you please care to elaborate for us? We're a little perplexed. Our experience of the circus sounds like it was different from you.
Huh. Well, Valin, you helped me remember about my first life. You taught me about the way the old me was, even though the new me is different. Mika taught me a lot about tea and a good, cozy evening at home and relaxing. How to, set up for sitting in. Graveheart taught me to fight. Anakur helped a little bit with that. But Anakur mostly taught me how to play different instruments.
Did you hear that, Onaker?
Sounds about right.
Arin's gonna like excitedly like hop up, run into another room, and you hear her like throw some things around, and she comes back in with a lute, and Arin is going to attempt to play the lute for you all.
I am going to take this opportunity to pull out the new flute that I just got, and I'm going to wait for her to start playing, and then I'm going to match and play along with her.
Yeah, she starts playing like a soft, peaceful melody, and she's not like amazing or anything, but like she's like street performer level at the very least. And if you want to cut in, you can go ahead and give me a performance check if you'd like as well. Yeah, you steal the show a little bit. What instrument are you playing?
The new flute, the pan flute that I got, Arin's pan flute.
Yeah, you know, you're really like leading her through the tune as you both like come to a close, and she goes, "Yeah!" Throws her hands up and goes, "I love it when you play the gifty gift flute."
The gifty gift.
Yeah, the old me gifted it to Capricorn, and then Capricorn gifted it to you. Gifty gift.
I can see we've got to do with naming things. I'm gonna flute, like look at it, and then be like, "Well, you're not too bad yourself. You played a decent jig there. I could definitely see you've put some work into it. So maybe I did have a little something to do with that."
I think it was awesome.
What do you know? How you came to the circus, and I guess where we even got you from.
Well, I don't remember it, but you all found me in the Grove, right? And then you came to the circus, and you had your owl friend fly me overhead, and then after that, I mean, we all spent a lot of time at the circus, and when I wasn't at the circus, I was here, as far as I remember, at the house. For the last 19 years or so.
Oh, that's how long we've been gone.
As I said before, I don't remember. I think it was Mika made a check last time. You're all fairly aware that for you, it's been about the time frame of 3 months.
I really wish that I could remember all those years. I don't know, 3 months for me. It hasn't been that long. Longer than I wanted it to be, but wow. And I'm just going to take more drinks.
Rafflacera will pipe up and say, "Yeah, time flows differently in the Fae. and to some degree I had some control over it. You'll find that depending on your emotions and thoughts, the world around you down here will change too. So you may have even seen some of that while you were at the circus, but who's to say?
Is there any way for our memories to catch up with this? Because I so want to remember all of those years.
That sounds like it would have repercussions.
You may yet recover the 3 months of memories, but I can't say for sure. I haven't left the Deep Fae my entire life, so I can only theorize. But I imagine that upon leaving the Fae, time will catch up with you, and you may find yourself aging and getting your memories back.
That sounds not fun.
Well, the important thing about that is that I think that for your sakes, it would be wisest to attempt to leave the underground as soon as possible.
And
It-
and this time Aaron can come with us if she so desires. Correct?
If she desires, I won't stop her. You made it very clear you'd be able to protect her, so I don't have any fear about that. And I think I need to come to terms with being alone myself as well.
You could ask people and not enslave them?
Well,
They signed a contract.
I didn't enslave anyone, but I guess I would have. I guess you could say I ensnared you guys, but it's not exactly my MO. My modus operandi is that I actually am sustained by people's happiness. So the way that I continue to live is by making the people around me happy. So I have incentive to make a place that people want to be. But I think one of the things that I'm learning from having met all of you and the fight that we had is that for me, especially as somebody who cares about, and she like looks at Aaron, I need to improve as a person.
You could find people who are ready to die and
Well, the catfolk have all communicated to me that they enjoy working at the circus, but I think that what I want to do, should Aaron leave, is take the show on the road, as they say.
Belen claps her hands. I think that's a wonderful idea. You can spread even more happiness throughout the citizens and the people of the world.
She nods. And hopefully that sort of eases any of your concerns about me keeping anyone here. Obviously, anybody who wants to leave my circus has the freedom to do so at this point.
That was a solid asterisk. That was a solid asterisk to the end of that sentence at this point.
Well, I'm not going to deny that I trapped you all there. But I wanted to make it clear that that was the exception to the norm.
It's okay. I'm not gonna deny many of us fell pretty hook, line, and sinker for this, so maybe a little bit as well, you know.
Well, and she like walks up to her and holds her hand and just says, "I forgive you for what you did, and I understand why you did it."
She's like,
What did you do to my bird?
I didn't do anything to the bird. I dimension doored the baby away from the bird without it noticing, though.
So he just been flying. Ain't came in to check in on nothing. Ain't said nothing.
Well, he's on your horn right now, right?
No, as far as he's been.
You
gone.
summoned him back at when you got back to the house, right?
No, I hadn't done it yet. We had just talked about making spell, but as far as I'm aware, the last time I saw the bird, I gave him the mission of holding the baby, and that was it.
Well,
Now there's an adult, and my bird is missing.
I know that he popped up during the fight, and he told you when you asked that the baby had just disappeared, that he didn't know where it went, and he had been flying around the outskirts of the circus.
I can't remember, but yeah.
But
If that's the case.
you know you haven't, to your knowledge or memory, had any connection with him. So she just kind of shrugs, you know. I didn't do anything to your bird. Well, other than in the fight when I hit it and it exploded and disappeared.
Oh yeah, I remember that happening. I fell. I remember that.
Sorry about that, by the way.
I mean, we don't need to apologize for what happened in that fight. We both did a lot. All of us did a lot of things. We surrounded you and pummeled you like you were like an everyday child, and we were taking your lunch money.
Yes, it made it very clear I needed to surrender. That I believe that is one of the reasons that I am still standing here. That and your mercy, of course.
Well, I'm very glad that we didn't turn you into a piñata.
Candy would have been nice though.
You have a jaw of it. Oh wait, no, I took it.
Kidding.
Arin looks at Mika excitedly and goes, "Oh, and she holds her palms out flat, and then candy starts coming out of her hands, like jelly beans and jawbreakers and suckers and gummy bears, like a fountain out of the center of her palms."
I scream in fear and horror at the eldritch monstrosity producing jelly beans from her flesh.
I'm clapping and I pick up a piece of candy and I start eating it.
Yeah, it's good. It's like the candy that you had at the circus.
That's so cool.
Berlin looks on in amazement, like, "Oh my god, you could totally run a candy shop in Zelk."
It's like create food, but create candy. That's cool.
Yeah, Rafflecera taught me.
Don't get a calorie.
But at the mention of starting a candy shop in Zelk, Arin sort of leans forward and looks at Valin and goes, "Tell me about Zelk. You haven't told me a whole lot, and I think I kind of want to go there."
Zelk is, she lies kind of dreamily is a beautiful place. Although right now it's not in the best state, but oh, I think you would love it there. The people are so friendly and kind, and we have this huge wall like surrounding like the countryside and the city to protect everyone who lives inside it. And the church where the people of Zell came to worship you. It was spe- it was a, I'm sorry. its its beauty is spectacular.
Nothing is a hole in the wall world now.
Yeah, it also got turned into a crater.
Yeah, it's unfortunately the church is not there anymore.
I will say that for those of you that went to the church before, this version of Arin, this new Arin, looks like the murals from the church in Zelk. She does not look like the previous Arin Angeli.
Okay. My lizard brain is unsure if I'm able to process that information.
I will say, I think the two people that had been to the church are Anakur and Valin. And I know Valin had been asked by Androx about the murals. So the attention was drawn to it. So you are at least mildly aware.
Okay.
And like inside the church there were like these murals of what well these murals of what people depict what you look like, and this was before the new you, so the old you looks different, but since you have been reborn, it looks like the people's wishes and like their thoughts of what you look like have actually manifest in you.
Huh. So do you think that they knew I would exist? Or maybe I'm meant to go there?
They knew you exist, but they just didn't know what you look like. So they depict something that was appealing and gives them comfort in their ideals of what you look like in their mind, even though they'll never know what you actually look like. Sorry, this is all so confusing.
Sorry.
Real quick out of character question. Weren't we kind of like told by Vindane that depiction of Orin was pretty much based off of what he had described? Wasn't it like his like effigy to her?
I believe that he had instilled a belief of Arin within Zelk.
But
The
they came up with the
the Bia was a joint Bia of like him and Arin. The images depicted there would be what the people of Zelk had inferred from the stories of Arin.
Okay. And would these have been stories from Vindane? Or would he have just kind of been in the behind the scenes influencing.
Well, he was definitely behind the scenes. He was not a forefront figure.
Yeah.
Seeing Vindane talking to her father before everything hit. So that was the whole reason that Valin originally left Zelk for the frontier, was that she had found or like overheard a conversation between Vindane and what was the father's name that raised you?
His name was Henry.
Father Henry.
Okay, that was my out of character question. Just make sure, because I would have been like, well, I mean, that image was designed by somebody who cared about you, but that's not the case. So
He certainly was in the ear of whoever was in charge.
yeah.
Was everyone a Henry?
I'm King Henry VIII, I am.
Funny enough, Henry's the nickname for the FBI agent that lists on our home pod. Big Henry.
Lord. So, with all of this talk happening, Rafflesera sort of like leans over on the table, crossing, like doing that whole like Genji Ikari thing, but like not as menacing. Like she's just like resting her head in her hands, and she kind of goes, "So, if Arin's going to Zelk and I'm taking my show on the road, where are you all going?"
Not here.
Well, since Vindane asked us to take care of Arin, I guess we're gonna go wherever Arin goes. I don't know about my other friends here. Sorry, I didn't mean to speak for you.
I think we had some business at the frontier. I think we were heading that way. We up with your brother and the rest of the people that we sent out that way. I think it would be a good idea there, and we've got some things that need to be dealt with, and given that we've missed 3 months of time, there's going to be things in action that are not. I'm definitely going to say there's probably going to be a lot of bad news before we get the good news when we get out of this place. And I've got some family business that I need to take care of.
I hope brother's okay and our people, and also be like, God, I don't know how to like describe it. Kind of caught off sentence and starts like getting stuck in her mind.
So, as you're sort of like losing your train of thought, Arin pipes up and says, "Valin, I know you feel like you all still need to take care of me, but I think your promise is fulfilled. I can take care of myself now. And I think I need to see some things on my own. I don't know."
I mean, what if you come along with us to find my people, because like a bunch of them are your worshippers, and I guess we would feel reassured if maybe some of them tagged along with you to protect you, or at least you have company.
She sort of frowns at that. Rafflesera, like, sort of raises a hand as if to interject and says, "Where is this frontier you're all talking about?"
That's where I come from.
Anako is gonna point up.
Well, obviously up, but it's not in the direction of Zelk, right?
No, away from it.
Me and Bird Box over here. We're technically from the frontier, from the deserts. There's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of uncharted stuff.
Well, I'm sure there's even more uncharted stuff down here. So, like I said, the sooner you all get out of here, the better it probably is for you all. Because time is a strange mess in this place. And for mortals, that's not a good thing. So, with that said, I know of 3 exits outside of whatever is to the east and in the direction of Zelk. I know that if you head west from here, like just slightly south and then to the west, there is a path that you will find. There's a small, not small, it's pretty large, but there's a cavern that heads to the west. If you go too far west, you will run into a barred door, which is one of the ways to get to the surface, but nobody's opened that door in about as long as I've been running the circus.
Wow.
But that being said, there is another cavern that connects to that cavern that will head to the south, and that will open up into an underground forest. There is the old Kingdom of Giants there. If you've reached that, you've hit the western side and you've gone too far. But somewhere in the north of there is a staircase that should take you above ground. That being said, it will take you north of the mountains in the Hand Falls, which there's a good chance that you won't be able to get to wherever your frontier is from there. That being said, it will get you above ground, so who can say? Other than that, there's 2 other exits that I know of, and those are to the south. They are much more dangerous. There's one, if you cross the Fey realms, to the south, there is an old temple to Gnome that extends from the surface to the ground. And I believe that would let you out somewhere on the surface to the southwest of Zelk. Other than that, there is also a exit to the surface underneath the ruins of the city of Hotfoot. Somewhere in the volcanic region above.
The one with gnome sounds really interesting. What do you guys think?
Didn't they? I don't know.
I'm with you guys. Just whatever you want to do.
What about you? I mean, one of the options is nearby where your dad is, if you want to go there or avoid there.
trying.
Look, salamander kind of a
And then you said the one that has like the old Temple of Nome. That's southwest of Zelk.
It would be. I'd imagine it's on the other side of the Weald. There's like a marshy region. It would be somewhere around there.
Okay. So not near the desert where my sister is. That was my trying to like geographically figure out.
With that information, anyone who would like to can give me survival checks, to try and like figure out just kind of like a general idea of where these things are in conjunction with things on the surface.
Did my... Oh no, it didn't. Gross.
Okay, I will say, for Mika and Valin, you're able to sort of piece it all together. So, Valin, you would recognize that the temple that she's talking about is likely somewhere a little to the west of where you guys saw the River of Stars near Foreport. Mika, you would imagine that I'd imagine that you would know the same thing, but you would probably have a bit more familiarity with the area, having been from the Weald, or the Weald. You might have traveled far enough west to have seen the swamps that she's talking about. I'll say that you've probably been there at least once, and you know that there are very giant crabs there. Like, even for you, they're, like, big.
All I know is running from those crabs. They were huge. But I think I know about the swampy area around there that you're talking about.
Auditor, do you remember when we crossed the Sea of Stars?
Yes.
I
Wow.
believe so. That was for when we was that when whenabouts we found the Bia that I attuned to?
Yes. Apparently that temple is actually not that far from there.
Hmm.
Isn't that the opposite way that we're wanting to go?
A bit, yeah.
Having had that described to you, you know that it would probably be just north of the desert. Probably on the other side of the river that the boats take from Zelk to the frontier.
We could definitely go through that temple way, just having to deal with giant crabs, and then that's close to an area where we would be able to get boats to the frontier.
Anakur and Valin would remember that the bards were going to send them through that part of the Weald to get somewhere to go to the frontier, or not to the frontier, but from somewhere to Zelk, which implied that they were taking a boat from somewhere. So you know that somewhere to the west of the River of Stars, there is a dock. It's likely a secret or hidden dock, but you know there is a dock that the bards knew about. I will also say, Valin, you remember traveling through the north part of the part of the world that's the north of the river. You know that Hot Footsteps, that marsh, is all north of the river. You know that the river is on the other side of that marsh. So if you got up there and somehow traversed through the marsh, you could also theoretically make it to the frontier some way that way as well, even if you don't take a boat.
Belinda proceeds to explain that to her friends.
I imagine Valin whips out her map that you've been carrying around and adding to since Isgaroth started it way back when.
Yeah.
And it lays out everything that Valin has seen since the beginning of her journey. So anybody who looks at the map can sort of see where the marshy area is that's being described. And there's a whole trail that leads up to the Hotfoot Steps and Nolf and the northern part of the Weald that Androx and Onakur and Valin traveled through previously as well, using Arin's candle. But you know that it's about as long of a walk through that marsh as it would be to sort of cross the Hotfoot Steps.
And while in the meantime, as like Valin is like scanning through the map, she asks if there's like a way that she can copy the map so she can give Arin a copy of the world.
Sure. Arin uses like a higher form of like essentially prestidigitation to create this like glob of like silly putty that smacks down on your map and then smacks down on a blank piece of parchment and makes an exact copy of your map.
There you go, Arin. I know this isn't enough, but I hope this can serve as an apology for saying like to have people around you to guard you.
She shakes her head. No, don't worry. I know you're just worried about me.
And I'm also kind of sad that I didn't spend as much time with you growing up for my memories. And I'm sorry about that.
She like smiles and shakes her head furiously. No, you were there the entire time. I'm sure you'll remember whenever you guys hit the surface. With the map out and everybody having eyes on the map, you are able to sort of suss various things out. There is a cavern entrance that the party didn't explore previously when they were in Handfall, to the west of Saren, to the west of Hotfoot Steps, that might connect to the place that Rafflesera was talking about in the underground forest. You also all can tell that this northwestern exit that she was talking about is... It would exit into territory that Valin and other people have never seen before. It's on the opposite side of a mountain range that stretches across that part of the world, called the Handfall Mountains. So there might be another way around to the west. Valin, looking at it and thinking back, knows that the furthest west that she traveled was the Arin's Sacred Grove, with the giant tree, and a little further west than that, but south, there was a huge field of roses that you couldn't see the other side of. So there could very well be something there where you could reconnect if you went out that way. But you have a theory as well that cavern entrance that you saw to the west of Saren might also be connected to this underground forest that Rafflesera did mention. And I'm going to turn that music down. Sorry, go ahead.
Valina wants to like ask Arin that like, okay, so Valina is like forming the basics of the religion for Titan, and because Titan was part of Titan was originally Arin, she wants to ask Arin, the new Arin, if she would like to be included, so she's not like excluded from the said new religion.
She thinks a little bit. Well, I imagine that the best thing would be to tell the truth, so maybe say I'm like a piece of Titan or something. I don't know. I'm sure that I can... She like thinks really hard on how to say this. I can feel the people that worship me, and I imagine that at least a good amount of those people will continue to worship me in the future, and I don't think that you should worry about how the religion that you are forming will affect how I'm seen.
Yeah.
Just tell the truth.
Well, thank you. That reassures me a lot. I was so worried about any future conflicts that might arise from miscommunications.
Rafflacera kind of leans back out of her relaxed position and goes, so, if you decide you want to head down to that temple, you should know what you're getting into, because that's going to be a very dangerous path. There is a Fey kingdom along the way called the All-You-Can-Eat Kingdom. There's people there that are made out of food, and they are very unpredictable. Sometimes with a tendency for violence, so be warned on that. The path to the temple connects to the lava caverns below the Hotfoot Steps, so you have to keep an eye out for that. The area around there that leads towards the temple is known as the Hot Pot Caverns. So just be careful. Remember that all of that is also part of the Fae, so it is a much longer travel going that route, and it is through much more dangerous lands. It may affect the time that you end up being down here. As I said, emotion, action, thoughts change time and the landscape around here. So you need to be careful. If you do decide to head to the west, the forest I mentioned is called the Crystalline Forest. Probably looks like what it sounds like if you think about it. There is a small Fey folk village there called Pasil that is made out of possumkin mostly. And it's interesting because part of that cavern is sort of like under the ocean to some degree, so that the soundscape is different. But it's much safer to go that way. Obviously, the most dangerous route would be the one through the underside of Hotfoot.
the safest way would be best. You are things to feed to this shithang. I point to Crow.
She looks at your scythe as you say that. Woof. That has some sort of face spirit attached to it.
I've not really liked that thing, and that I gave it to him, but yeah. Eat things. Is there something you could do about that?
1 second.
Pulls out the Rolodex.
She thinks about it for a minute, like staring at the scythe, and then shakes her head. I don't think that I could, but if you can somehow get into, there's a city above that blockade that I mentioned. If you can get into that city somehow, either from above or below, the people there might be able to help you.
That does sound like something we could take care of. And I feel more comfortable knowing that I'm not going to have a scythe biting me on the ass at one day.
Well, I'm going to make another roll for it. So she thinks back hard, and it's a long think, because we're talking like probably 1,000 years or more back. But she says, if I remember, it was a city called Bold. It was originally a city of Aranites, the original children of Aran. And they made some pretty great technological advancements in their time. But when things got pretty dicey in the God Wars, fighting over the Bias, they locked themselves away over there, with the help of the Fomorians.
What's a Fomorian?
Fomorians were children of Gnome. They were one of his original races, along with the Gnomes. They were sort of a joint creation between Gnome and his budding love of Sylph. They sort of kept to themselves in a city called Fomoria underneath the ocean, or the sea, or whatever. You can find the ruins to Fomoria on the west side of the Crystal Forest. But I believe that they've all more or less died out, other than the one that I would imagine is obvious.
No, there's not obvious one.
Well, if it wasn't obvious out where you've been, it'll be obvious where you're going.
Alright, what did I miss?
A lot. So on the west side of the Crystal Forest, there is a ruined city called Femoria that was apparently underneath the sea or the ocean. The Fomorians were children of Nome, and they helped protect the Aranites, the children of Aran.
Wait, so basically Atlantis?
No, Fomoria. Fomorians are actually a mythological thing. If you'd like to go ahead and look it up, Google will help you there. But yeah, so it's the same premise. They were a race of giants, fey creatures. They lived underneath the sea or the ocean, underground, and they came up to help the Aranites. The Rafflesera has said that they are all dead now, aside from one, as far as she knows.
Damn, that actually makes me think the last oh god, what's that race in Elder Scrolls that disappeared?
I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, but if you would like, Valin can give me a history check to maybe make a connection on Fomorians.
Normal? Oops, sorry. Oh, never mind.
Yep.
The Dwemer.
So you remember very, very early on in your adventures when you had made it to the western side of the Mushroom Forest, you had found yourself in a forest made out of giant flowers. And inside of that forest, you saw a skull that was like the size of a building. And then thinking about that some more, you thought about the other skull that you've seen in the desert, the one that somebody is stuck in. And some dots are starting to connect there.
I'm sorry, I'm struggling how to describe this to the party.
I will say, at least 2 other members of the party have seen the skull in the desert. The 2 people from the desert.
Yeah, the old desert skull.
Yeah, not quite so sure if you guys have enough information there to make the connection that Valin's getting, but you have that information.
I'm aware that there's a skull in the desert.
But, I mean, race of giants, giant skulls. I guess you kind of know where those came from now.
Yeah, we do.
Easter Island.
Ah.
Closer to Stonehenge.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Is Onakur inside at this point?
Yeah, I'm inside, but I'm not sitting down. I'm just standing up.
Okie dokie. Rafflesera will stand up and lean on her staff and say, I think that using the last of the power I have available to me today, I might be able to return some of your time to you and maybe make up for a little bit of what I did. And it should give you the benefit of resting without you feeling like you've rested. And you watch her sort of like lift her staff in the air, and she sort of like motions it around in a big circle, and the ethereal visage of a clock face appears, spinning backwards, as you all watch these ghostly versions of you like lounge around in Arin's house for a while, and everybody gains the benefits of a long rest. How's everybody feeling?
That's a
Feeling
that's a
pretty good right
question.
now.
I feel like getting up early in the morning to start the daily soup room. Or
I got a lot of spell slots back. That's how I'm feeling.
So Valin's kind of like excited and giddy.
yes.
Okay.
I feel like I could write a new song.
Anyone else having any sort of emotions?
I'm just really happy, and I am ready to get on the road.
Hell yeah. As you all wake up with excitement and renewed vigor, the Fae around you reacts to your emotion, and time slips. You watch as the world around you, like a bad dream, like fast forwards, and you all sort of like feel like if you've ever ridden in a vehicle downhill at a very fast velocity and you feel like the pit of your stomach is rising, you all get that sort of feeling as time slips around you, and you lose about 6 more days. It seems like a beautiful summer day outside now. However, Arin's house is now empty other than the 4 of you. Dust has started to collect on things.
Belinda like looks around really quickly, and then she like looks at her friend. Did you guys see where they went?
I think we had a little time to whiny.
I think time for us to get going.
Alright, so I assume slightly unsettled, the party gathers up their things. You don't know when it happened on Occur, but you have had the time to attune to your new flute, and you have had the time to resummon Hypnos, who isn't currently with you, but you know you can summon him when you need to. But, like, you can sense the connection is back.
That's at least reassuring.
I've still got a problem. I'm supposed to have 4 rages at level 10. It's saying I only have 3. Featured.
What the hell? What did it?
Oh no. Actually, you get 4 even earlier on the new edition. I think I found out how to do it. I've got edit on, and it's got limited uses, and I just set it to 4. I'm going to see if that works. That worked. Will do.
We'll keep up with. All right. So you all you've all sort of like gathered up your things. Was there anything that you wanted to do before you headed out?
I would like to look around the kitchen for perishable foods or anything else that they can bring along with them, considering that no one's gonna be here back here for a while.
Can you say that out loud?
Sorry, was I too quiet?
No, I was asking if you said that out loud so like the party could hear.
No, I didn't say that out loud, but, let's say Valen, she, like, looks to her friend, like, do you think, I think it might be a good idea if we, go around the kitchen and start packing food that we can take along with us.
It'll need to be preserved food. I'm pretty sure everything that wasn't is probably rotting.
Anybody who wants to look for anything in the house, go ahead and give me investigation. I'm gonna be right back real quick. If anybody wants to look for anything else, let me know when I get back. I'll let you know.
That was a bad roll.
Oh my lord. I'm rolling 7s tonight.
My passive investigation's 19, so
Mine's 11.
investigation is something that I'm trained in. And deception, and persuasion and performance.
My passive perception's a 15.
You know, my passive perception, just perception itself, is a 12. But my investigation, I'd be investigating.
So you're the one we want to have spotting traps.
That's what I usually call out searching places. I'm always like, my investigation's a 19. Do I see that shit?
Alright, I am back. I heard Onakur has a passive investigation of 19.
Yep.
Was there anything different that Onakur wanted to look for, or anyone else?
So we're inside of the house. I honestly can't think of anything that Anakor would personally want to look for, so helping look for if there's anything non-perishable, like possible goods that we could, dry goods that we could take with us. If not, he wants to look for oil for his lantern. That's one personal thing he'll look for. Oil.
Yeah, everybody's kind of like searching around in the kitchen and stuff. Mika, you are able to find a jar with your name on it that houses the majority of the candy that Arin summoned previously. On Okur, you are able to, with a 19, you find a note left by Arin, explaining that when time started slipping for you all, they started heading off to the east, and she wished you safe travels and, well wishes and everything as you headed on your way. You are able to find, there is like a large sack of rice, probably like 5 pounds of rice, that just probably got left behind. You also can find another of the, I don't remember the ounces that your oil things come in, but you're able to find another unit of them. I think it's 8 ounces.
I believe that's in my backpack. Gotta click on backpack. It is. It's pints.
Someone should look for honey or sugar.
Yeah, oil usually comes in a clay flask that holds 1 pint.
Alright, so you're able to find another pint.
Awesome. I'll just hit add. Boom. I'll take the note after reading it. I'll kind of give like a kind of like a proud dad, even though I have no right to be a proud dad. Like that nod, like you're gonna do good, kid. You knew to abandon us as soon as we started slipping. You're on it. You're good. And then I'm gonna take the note and give it to Valen.
I was close, by the way. A pint is 16 ounces, so I was halfway there.
What did you say, Daniel?
It seems that Oren left us a note. You can go ahead and read it if you want, but she, once she noticed us doing that time warp BS, she took that as a cue that her and Granny Clowns a lot should head out.
It was really nice of them to leave a note to reassure us.
Yep. Thoughtful kid. Well, not really a kid anymore. You know what? I'm older than them. They're a kid.
It will always be a kid to us. But she is an adult now, so we gotta respect that.
So you all head across the garden, following the path that you followed to get here, and you reach the like southernmost point of this path, and you look out across this like massive field down here. There's like a tree line on the other side of the field, but like it's gonna take you a second to walk across this field. And whatever's to the south and west of here, you can't quite make out. The cavern's exterior, like interior, like wall, you can see to the north, and it runs like along the west, where it meets up with the tree line. I will take a quick crop of my map so that I can show you all kind of how it looks. But yeah, which direction were you guys wanting to head in?
I think it was towards the marshlands, the gnome temple. I think that's where we decided.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds pretty right.
You know that that will be like the middle ground when it comes to how dangerous it is.
Yeah, that sounds about good.
The safest route would be to the west towards Bold, if you wanted to get Crow removed from Graveheart. That would the west would take you through the Opossum Village, and the Crystalline Forest. To the Gnome Temple, you would have to head south and go past the lava caverns underneath Hotfoot Steps and through the All-You-Can-Eat Kingdom.
I actually kind of think going towards Bold is the best idea to get Crow off of Graveheart.
Yeah, me too.
I say let's say we go and have a visit to that Bold place and see a man about a scythe.
I like it. Okay.
Just to give you a general idea of what you're looking at, there's a little cutout of the map.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, where that cavern is off to the west is, like, on the other side of a tree line. And then, obviously, as it goes to the south, there's a tree line. So, like, you can kind of picture where the trees are, even though I don't have them drawn on there. And this whole field is just like covered in just all sorts of crazy fey flowers. But you... So did you... I heard one person say Wold would be the best idea. Was there an agreement on that, or...?
2.
2? Alright. And Mika said that she was just gonna follow where you guys went. Valen?
Yeah, I'm with the party majority.
Alright, the vote has passed. You all start heading across this field. Who's taking point as you cross the field?
Most likely me.
Alright, go ahead and give me a survival check.
I've been rolling 7s all night.
Referring to Graveheart, not everybody.
Oh, it's got a 7 in it, but it's not a 7.
Alright, as you are traversing this field, you are sort of like excuse me, examining the different plant life as you cross. You're able to spot a few plants that might be more dangerous to the group and steer around them rather than just walk right through them. But after trucking through this field of like crazy wildflowers and stuff, you finally make it to this tree line, and it looks a lot like the center of the alluring weald from above as you look up and see a rainbow iridescent leafed tree line overhead, the light from the sky above shining through. There is a cavern to the west that you know of. So your party makes it through... Excuse me, jeez. Your party moves along the tree line to the west to find the western wall. And you begin following the western wall to the south until you find the cavern that heads off to the west. And as Rafflesera described, the cavern turns into a dirt trail, and as you all make your way down this cavern, everybody go ahead and give me a perception check at disadvantage. Cannot take passive on this.
I misclicked that.
Oh, that sucks.
Disadvantage. There we go.
Oh, nice.
Alright, so you all are walking to the west down this cavern. Water drips from overhead. A few of you recognize that you are underneath Lake Saren, but you make it to the point that Rafflacera had mentioned, where you have gone too far west and you hit a metal wall. This is a giant, like, fabricated metal wall of like hammered mithril and like all sorts of crazy symbols on it in so many different languages. You see keep out, do not enter, leave, no trespassers, a massive reinforced door sits barred, planks of old mossy wood stretch across it, holding it in place, as well as like riveted plates of metal across it that all sort of have seen better days. But having the information that you have, you know that you have missed a tunnel somewhere that goes to the south. But this is the underground entrance to Wold you were told about that has not been opened in as long as Rafflacera can remember.
Backtrack?
What was that?
Backtrack?
Yeah, I think we reached the point of we've gone too far.
Alright, so you all begin to backtrack, and as you make your way back, you examine the southern wall as you go, the way that you examined the western wall as you headed south before. And as you're heading back, you see why you missed the path coming this way. It is a cavern that has been excavated, but it's at such an angle that as you were passing it going to the west, it was like carved out at an angle that like is very hard to sort of like spot in the wall. It's super easy to spot going this way because the flow of the wall goes with it, but like in the opposite direction, it's sort of like almost obscured, just the way that it's dug out, almost as if somebody didn't want people to find it. But as you look down this tunnel, there are these support beams of like adamantite and other rare metals that just support the stone pressing down on it from above.
And where'd they get all this metal?
I'd imagine you like shiny things, probably. So I'd imagine Graveheart knows a thing or two about metal. These are extremely rare metals. Even showing the age that they do, like if you somehow were able to take like this metal to a smith, you would be looking at like platinum pieces worth of metal.
We able to take a piece or a part of it that looks loose enough to harvest to take for ourselves. So say
I wouldn't advise it.
Sorry.
If you'd like to try and find a piece that you might be able to remove, go ahead and give me an investigation at disadvantage.
Can I cast guidance on myself?
Yep.
For that?
Yep.
You're
Alright, so will that just turn into just a regular roll?
adding a
No.
D4.
Yeah, you can add a D4 to whatever your lowest roll is.
Okay. What do I need to roll again?
Investigation at disadvantage.
No.
And then it was RD4.
Yeah, /R space 1D4. You run your hands over the door, and outside of the wooden barriers, everything is very well, like, it hasn't, like, rusted or anything. It doesn't seem like anything is loose there. And then you start to sort of, like, feel the columns in this other tunnel. And it's the same thing. It's not like somebody's been out here maintaining it, but these metals are the type of metal that doesn't degrade the same way that, like, steel or iron does.
Stoner stuff.
As you do begin to investigate the beams supporting this tunnel, you find that they are holding it up just as well as likely the day that they were made.
Oh wow. Whoever created this area has done exquisite work. These don't show any sign of aging at all.
That's the kind of metal they are.
With Anakur's passive investigation and Mika's general ranger skills, the two of you are able to piece together that whoever made the door that's blocking the end of the tunnel to the west likely also put up this structure that's leading to this, like, these structures that are holding up the tunnel that leads to the south.
This looks like it might have been made by the Thalians or the Aura. What are they? Thalians?
The dead civilization is the Fomorians. The
Fomorian, thank you.
The city of Bold was inhabited by the Aranites.
Okay, it was the Aranites and the Fomorians down here before one died and the other closed the other thing off. Yeah, I think this might be the work or the Folians. Morians. Or nice.
Interesting.
If we get into the city of Bald, we can talk to probably somebody that might know something about this stuff, and may find somebody who has some to smith with. Hell, if we're being told to go to this place because somebody knows about the scythe, your scythe might be made out of similar stuff.
Maybe. But this stuff's expensive.
You want to pawn off your scythe?
On and off. I think we need to destroy it.
what if I had a really reputable guy? I know his mustache looks shifty, but I promise he's a good guy.
Okay.
Okay. Bold.
So yeah, anything else you all wanted to do in this tunnel heading to the south?
Head south.
While doing that, like Belinda's gonna like
Sounds
see
good.
if
That's
there's
an echo.
any.
Okay, let's do that one at a time. Marky, were you trying to say something?
Oh, sorry. I was just saying heading south sounds good to me.
Okay, and then Valin, was there something you wanted to do?
Keeping her eyes out for any fey plants that she can forge.
Okay. Cool. Go ahead and make a survival check at disadvantage as you scout for wild edibles heading down this path.
Okay, then she's gonna give herself. Wait, she still has guidance on. Maybe I'll just do that. Okay. Disadvantage. There we go.
21.
Yes.
All right. You are able to find this thing that's like similar to like a daikon radish, but it has like a face on it.
Did you find a mandragora?
It's like she gently taps where she thinks is the nose.
Oh, it has a very obvious nose. I'll say this thing's kind of like, it's like uncanny valley level, like somewhere in the middle of like almost
Is this supposed to be a map loading?
Yes. But this thing that Valen is holding,
Hello?
can you hear me?
Rory, can you hear?
Rory?
Uh-oh.
I think that
That's
answers
not
it.
good.
Can anyone hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay.
Nice. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
weird.
So, this thing that Valen has pulled from like the wall of this cavern, it's like uncanny valley. Like it like looks like a man's face. Like somebody took like a knife and like was looking at somebody and like carved their face out of it. But it does look and smell like a radish otherwise. Like a large daikon radish, white with like green plant heading towards the surface.
I have an idea. I may have an idea on how to help guide us through this cave a little bit better. Using our plant friends here. I want to, using the new, one of my Orin's pan flute, I want to speak with plants.
Alright, so you should be able to actually cast it from
Yeah.
the instrument. And it should use up one of your charges.
Oh, it's having me put a radius down, so I'm just gonna throw it right on me.
Yeah, don't worry about it. So yeah. You imbue plants within 30 feet of you with limited sentience and animation, giving them the ability to communicate with you and follow your simple commands. Okay. Okay. So yeah, this you cast this spell, and all of the like local plants just light up, including this radish thing that Valin has pulled out of the wall, and it immediately starts going ah!
God damn it.
Oh, so it's a Bahalit radish?
Well, like it's been pulled from the ground, so it's like freaking out a little bit.
Yeah.
Balloon, she just panics and like puts it back where she got it and just like makes sure like it was covered down, padded with dirt. Shit, sorry.
Rude.
For forgiveness.
Isn't Anakur the only one that can speak with it?
No, it says that you imbue them with sentience and the ability to speak.
Giving them the ability to communicate with you and follow your simple commands.
Well, so yeah, then I guess that you are the only one that's able to hear it. But yes, this thing is like screaming.
It would start shaking. It does get like motion, so probably just started violently shaking it.
Well, so the way that I pictured this is as soon as it like comes to life, that face like gains like the ability to move, and that face opens up, so Valin sees the face of this thing like look like it's screaming, and Anakur hears the screaming.
I'm like, put it back in the ground.
God, I just my brain immediately went towards that berserk face.
Yeah, the Bahalit. Immediately I was like, okay.
I actually haven't seen Berserk, so accidental reference.
It's alright. In there they have this egg tool that has a face on it that at certain points screams and cries blood. But neither here nor there. But I'm sorry for you were so abruptly plucked from your home. I had a question to ask. Would you happen to know the way? I'm going to. I can't remember myself off the top of my head, but describe the direction that into this. Like, do you know where we need to go from here?
Are you asking it directions on how to find the way up to Bold? Or
I believe yes.
okay, so it it sort of like huffs a little bit at you, having been pulled out of the ground, but you hear a small fern like a little further down the path chime in and go, "Don't worry about them. They're all mean. The root network says that if you head west after coming out of this tunnel, you should find what you're looking for if you're trying to get to the surface. Although there is another way to exit to the southwest, but that's hidden behind some sort of rock or something. I don't know. It's hard to get all the information, but there should be a staircase to the north. If you head west from the exit to this tunnel.
Alright, so hit tunnel exit, head west, then north to a staircase. That's where we need. The staircase was where we need to go. Thank you for your help. Is there any way I could pay you back? I don't have much to offer other than I pull out my water canteen that has the water crystal in it, and I'm going to kind of shake out the crystal and be like, if you want, I have a water crystal.
Oh, don't worry. There's plenty of those around here.
Oh, Crystal Forest. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Also, I imagine that all of this is sort of communicated to you through sort of images and the way that a plant might communicate rather than actual words, because I don't imagine that a plant knows the word west, south, north,
Yeah, I imagine it's like the school of fish in Finding Nemo, just their leaves take amorphous shapes and point in directions and make vague outlines of things. Like when it was there's a rock, it's just a big image, image unavailable.
Yeah, I imagine this you're almost psychokinetically tapping in with this plant, especially since nobody else can hear it, and it's conveying these things to you. So it's almost like you're tapping into this root network that it's using to give you these directions, and you can see the paths it's traveling down to get to where it's describing to you.
Okay. Well, thank you for your information. That was very helpful. We'll make sure to not cause any more destruction to any plant life than we need to. Take what we need.
Yeah, the face radish is still screaming through this entire conversation, by the way.
Yeah, can I eat that one?
Please.
Grab it out of the ground and eat it.
You take a bite out of the radish. It's that kind of spicy that radishes tend to be, and it screams harder for a second, and then makes a motion of something dying.
Thank God that screaming's over.
You couldn't hear it.
Silent. Oh, sorry.
I could hear it. That thing was screaming. That was horrible. Yeah. I'm gonna call you Bushwick. This is Bushwick here. Bushwick told me that the root network connecting them to all the other plants around gave me directions. We gotta hit the end of this cave. After the end of the cave, we go west a ways. Then we'll come across a path divergence where we can head north. We'll head north until we hit a staircase, and that's our exit to Bold. There's also a secret entrance to the southwest that is hidden by a rock, but I also feel I don't know if this is me just not knowing directions very well, but also that just sounds like the mithril door.
You would recognize that from the map that Valin showed you before, there is a cavern on the western side of the Fields of Saren that might be that secret exit that your bush friend was talking about, who's actually a fern.
In Montana, it's a ficus named Fern. This is a fern named Bushwick. But yeah, there's apparently to the west near Saren, there may be a secret entrance, but it's something. They think it's a rock, but they're not able to really fully tell. There's only so much that root, they say. And they gave me permission to eat that radish. I don't want you to think that I just committed plant murder. He was screaming and he wouldn't stop. We put him back and he just kept going. Apparently he just does that. Apparently that's just his modus operandi.
Well, I guess if he wished for death, he got it.
I don't know if he wished for death or just craved non-sentience. But either way, I have given a gift. They don't require anything in return. They're just pretty cool. And I said that we wouldn't cause any wanton destruction than necessary.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, then. I think we've got our trajectory.
Alright, so with that, the party gathers back up and begins heading further south down this tunnel. As you make about an hour's walk down, the tunnel begins to open up in this very large, ornate, it's not a gate. Well, it looked you know the big like ceremonial gates in Japan. It's kind of like that, except for this thing it's like four like pillars, with like a double like beams almost, that like connect the wall on the like south to the wall on the north, and like these pillars hold these beams up, and like across the entire surface is just like runes in old Auric that have been like worn down. But on the other side of this structure, it just opens up into another very large cavernous area. You can see the crystalline forest that was mentioned. Large trees with the trees are made out of like crystal. They're all like the correct color for trees, but they are all made out of crystal.
Any trees that look like pine trees that it could be not smart to like walk too close to them?
There seems to be a large variety of trees. There are what one might refer to as a pine tree, a sort of deciduous tree.
I thought they were coniferous.
That was the word I was looking for. My bad.
As long as they're not carnivorous.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'll see myself out.
we need a crystal Venus flytrap, even though it's not a tree.
But yeah, this like gate thing that I mentioned is like probably close to 200 feet tall and like 400 feet wide. So like this thing's massive. The cavern on the other side, massive. The trees, huge.
There aren't any sandbox trees, are there?
Sandbox trees?
They have exploding fruit and can shoot spines at you.
No.
That sounds unfortunate and upsetting.
Sounds like something from a nightmare.
Yeah, let me see if I can move you all over now. Now, hopefully you were all preloaded and that just pops right up.
Oh. Ooh, nice. Oh,
Okay.
so cool to have your map on here, Rose.
Yeah. So, to get an image of where you're all at, I am going to move the party, and I know that you guys have a harder time seeing your way around in larger maps, so I'm going to move you to where you're at. Talk is one of your tokens, and it should move you all to, like, what I'm trying to show you. Did we lose Rory?
Yes, I'm having to reload because it's froze on me. I may not get the map.
Okay. Not a huge deal. You'd probably will be fine because we're doing Theater of the Mind anyway. But yeah, just so everybody understands, that's like your general location. But obviously you're underground. But yeah, so this whole giant cavern stretches out before you on the other side of this gate. And when I say gate, like I said, there's no like doors or anything. It's not like a gate. It's like 4 pillars holding up these cross beams.
And from here, is this where we were? Like, would this be the signifier of when we were told to go north?
You were told to head west from the opening after you got to the end of the tunnel.
Okay, so this would be the opening. So west from here.
Yes.
Okay. West.
Do you all just like walk through this gate, or?
I'm
Graveheart thinks it's a trap.
Inspect the...
Braveheart's going to look for traps.
Investigate. Oh my god, I'll see myself out.
It's definitely a trap.
I'll actually roll this time for having that horrible joke. Awesome. 24.
Valin, give me a history check at advantage. If you get a 20 or higher, I'm gonna give you a language that isn't already on your character sheet. That language being Auric. You just barely made it. So yeah, Valin understands Auric and can recognize the writing on these pillars as Auric. Although, like I said, it is an ancient form of Auric, so like it's like it's kind of like an English to Roman sort of, like Latin sort of deal. There's a lot of there's a lot of similarities between what Valin knows and what is written here, but it's like she understands like 1 out of every like 20 words. But as she
Barely a lot.
yeah,
From like old English to modern English.
but she's like sort of like looking over this thing. Go ahead and give me a religion check at advantage. Yeah, you recognize that there is some very, very old Aran scriptures written on this, and you're able to piece something together about to everyone a spirit animal or something like that.
It's mentioning something about a spirit animal.
Oh, yeah. I've got a couple of those.
Valin has met an Arnite before. You remember the witch who lived in the back of the giant snail, and you remember her mentioning that the Aranites had a connection with an animal.
Old lady that was that lived in that moving snail.
None of you have any idea what the fuck she's talking about.
Sorry, ADHD.
I do the slow lizard double blink, just one eye at a time, just... What?
I heard of the old lady that lived in a shoe. Is it the same old lady?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she's I remember her saying that Arnites actually had a familiar. Maybe this is referring to that.
Familiar?
Well,
Did she swallow a fly? I know there was an old lady that did that too.
Let the fly lay an egg in her and then bust out her chest?
well, if it's talking about having a connection to animals, 3 of us are technically animals. But if we're thinking about this on a deeper level, does it mean like a connect, like a physical, like a connection to a physical animal, or like like a spiritual connection, like something you see in your dreams or something like that.
Like a
Can I read the text again to see if maybe reading it again will give me a better understanding?
Okay.
You're able to gather that if an Aranite does not live in close proximity to their spirit animal, they will die. Like, they'll wither and die. But as long as the Aranite remains living with or close to their spirit animal, they have an infinite lifespan. Or near infinite.
So this is saying that an Aranite and their spirit animals, they have to be either like near each other or at least a little bit of a distance away from each other, in order, because for the Aranite to live, and that life can go on for quite a while. But if they are apart, then the Aranite will die.
Okay.
She, like, as she said that, she like hugs Buddy.
Enter.
But having gotten close enough to the archway now, you're able to see into the cavern beyond. There is a large chunk of the ceiling, and you can sort of make out on the horizon, the far edge of the cavern is all very clear blue crystal. And you can see beyond that blue crystal is like the ocean.
Gross. Was the message written on the thing? Was it written like a warning? Was there like a error or message? Did I hear that wrong?
There was no warnings.
Okay.
It's like old Aaronic texts. They're all very like religious scripture sort of deal. But it talks about the Aaronites and their spiritual connection to animals that they have.
Okay, so this isn't like this doesn't look like a message written on a doorway that's like, this is a warning, like if you don't, like pretty much like it's not saying if you don't have an animal you'll die, but it's more like we've found a site that was like a religious site, and that is just one of the teachings that is written there.
Yes, this seems like some sort of holy site.
Okay.
If you would like, go ahead and give me a religion check.
All right, risk it for the biscuit. You don't know until you know. 11.
Yeah, you don't know too much about the Aaronic religion.
Nah, I don't know much about much except smoking. What you mean? I'm fresh to this stuff.
Sounds cool though. You like animals.
Yeah, and talking about spirit animals is definitely getting me thinking about the rabbits in my dreams.
Oh no.
speaking about religion, Arnaker, what has I know you haven't had the best thoughts on religion due to family issues, but what have you been, I guess, thinking, not meeting Aaron and experience being around a kinder god slash goddess.
I guess the main thing is that I went from kind of living in an obstinate disbelief of refusing to believe in something to kind of being given undeniable, tangible proof. But I'm also learning that it can be used in many ways and help people, and I think that I'd rather it help than hurt, and I'd rather help it help and help to keep it alive if it means keeping people alive and keeping the world good, because I know that there are good and there are bad gods out there, but it's kind of a pick and choose game, I guess.
Would you say you're now having, I guess, a kinder outlook on the concept of religion?
A kinder outlook is kind of a hard way to put it, but I definitely have a more open outlook on it.
I'm really glad to hear that. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you on. I guess I hope you understand religion more.
I'll definitely probably be needing that in the coming months.
He nods and smiles at Annika.
Has anyone crossed the threshold into the cavern at all?
Graveheart will have.
Okay. So, like, as you step through, you like step under this thing with, like, it's almost like a greenhouse, you know. The humidity changes ever so slightly, and spreading out in either direction along the cavern walls from this giant gate is just glowing like text and symbols and things in a similar vein of what is on the gate that you just passed through.
It's a trap! It's a trap!
It's a trap.
Glowing text! Glowing text! Everywhere!
Let's does the glowing text look like the text that's on the pillars? On the shrine?
Yeah.
I take Valin and push Valin through the arches. You're on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as you pass through the gate, Valin, you see the glowing text that Graveheart is talking about. You weren't able to see it from the tunnel, as it's on the walls that extend in either direction, but it seems to be the same script as on the pillars that you were able to investigate. Go ahead and give me an Arcana check at advantage. This is a spell of protection. This is great holy magic, and you recognize it because it is similar to the kind of magic that you have a history of using yourself. This spell is likely has something to do with whatever is going on in this terrain, keeping the water from flowing into it. There is another thing that you notice as you recognize what this is. There isn't just Auric in here. There's a whole nother language that you don't recognize. And trying to fill in the gaps, you are probably able to collect that that's likely Fomorian.
Oh, does anyone have like paper, and then maybe some like I don't know, chalk or something. I think I found Fomorian script. Oh, I should have asked the Fomorian script. You said it was on a surface of a pillar.
No, this is part of the spell text that extends outward from these pillars. It's almost like the like glowing text sort of like turns into like this dome that you can almost make out. This is like ethereal like force dome that's sort of holding you all know these blue crystals that are like above this cave. They give off water. This magic is holding back whatever water is coming out of those blue crystals.
My question is, the writing, are they poking like out of the surface, or are they going like more inward?
It's not so much physical writing as it is like spell work that's still intact.
Okay.
These are like ancient runes that like ethereally glow like above the surface of like the cave. So just imagine like an arcane spell ward that like stretches as far as the eye can see.
Is it preventing us from entering, or is it like over us as well?
It doesn't prevent you from entering, as Graveheart and Valin have both already stepped through. It seems like it just holds back the water.
Okay, I will walk in as well.
All right. Yeah. And
I knew your special eyes would come in handy.
And anyone who steps into this cavern, you'll notice that the ambient temperature and humidity sort of changes as you enter the cavern, as you like walk across that threshold to like the point that it's almost like a different environment in here from the caverns you were just in.
I feel refreshed. My lizard skin is happy.
Yeah, it's like I'd say like almost like not like Louisiana like humidity, but like close to it. Like it's like near swampy. There's a lot of moisture in the air. It's the temperature isn't oppressive or anything. There's not like like. Gosh, I gotta think real quick on how long it's been. I haven't been tracking. So it would have taken you about an hour across the field. Oops, wrong button. About an hour across the field. 2 hours down the tunnel. Probably about 20 minutes back. About an hour to the south. So like yeah, the sun is like high in the sky above, but like not all of the light makes it through the water above these crystals and down to this place below. So it almost like shades you from it. It's very like cool, even though it's so humid.
I'm definitely doing that lizard basking thing, blinking my eyelids. I lick my eye a couple times. Pretty nice in here.
Oh, okay, it's not as bad as I thought. We haven't blown up or anything. Maybe we should still hurry.
Yeah, hurrying is probably still priority number one. Let's head west.
Yeah. How's everybody's emotions doing? Anyone feeling anything?
Braveheart was just very
On edge?
anxious.
Berlin is feeling a mixture of excitement and wonder.
I hold the sentiment of wanting to get out of here, even if it does feel nice be here any longer.
Luckily the combination of everyone's feelings sort of jumbles up and doesn't... Like, you can feel the world around you trying to react to everybody's feelings, but everybody's kind of feeling different stuff right now, so it can't... It's not shifting.
Yeah, I'm feeling togetherness, you know. I'm feeling really happy that I found y'all.
You knock that off right now, you start feeling indifferent. I'm kidding.
Alright. So, the party agreeing that getting out of here is the biggest priority. Heads into the forest, heading west. You can easily keep your eyes on the wall. This cavern's fucking massive. But after about an hour of heading west, you all have a high enough passive perception that you're able to spot a small village in the treetops, just to the southwest.
Oh. Blinn, on your map, wasn't didn't Oren Mark, or not Oren, what's Rasputia? I don't know what her name was. Whoever doodled on the map, didn't they doodle about a possum folk village?
Valin, she like pulls out her map and she takes a look at it.
Valin had written down the things that Rafflesera had mentioned, just kind of a general area of stuff, and the town was called Pasil.
It's a pass of possums. Oh my god. That's, that looks like it might be that Pasil place.
Based on this, there should be a town nearby.
Yep. And you can you can all see the town in the tree, like the crystalline treetops to the southwest of where you are.
The mixed feelings that I have right now. Do we risk going and checking out this village and possibly slipping and losing time? Or do we want to keep going and continue on to our objective and get above land?
Staying down here too long, and we're going to be 100.
It wouldn't be too bad of an idea to check it out. Maybe we can get some information from the inhabitants.
What about you, Mika?
I don't know. Sorry, I had to reload my map and all kinds of stuff, so.
To the southwest of where you are, the party is discussing whether or not they'd like to visit a village in the treetop of Possumkin, likely the hometown of one of Anakur's friends.
That sounds really awesome.
Alright, we can go check out the village.
But I don't know. We need to get somewhere quick. And we don't want to lose more time. At this point, I don't know. I might age like 30 years.
Well, I feel like as long as we can keep ourselves in check, and we just take a quick stop by. We're not going to be hanging around for too much by there, but
I am interested. So I'm with you guys. Whatever you guys do.
What's Graveheart think?
I think if we stay around, we're likely to lose more time.
yeah, I think losing time is my biggest concern.
All right, so the party sort of votes on it, and you all decide that it's much more important to keep your lives than it is to visit the cute possum village, as fun as it sounds. But you all continue to follow the wall that wraps to the west. Let me just look at my tunnel map. So as you follow the wall to the west, it sort of like bumps up against another wall. Everybody give me a perception check at disadvantage as you look at this wall to the west that heads to the south.
Okay, that's nice. It didn't register that I tried to roll.
Need one from Valin still too.
I see nothing.
Oh, you rolled him that one.
Alright, yeah. Valin and Mika, as you get to this wall on the western side, it's a craggy, sort of like bulbous, rounded wall. This seems to be where, like, the limit of where you can see like the glowing text on the wall. It seems to sort of disappear as it connects with this wall heading to the south. But then the party continues to follow this wall to the south, heading further into the woods, as you all round the southern edge of this wall, running north to south. You can see to the southwest of the cavern, and with everybody's passive perception, you're able to pick out a gate that is just massive. It's bigger than the door that you all just saw, which already looked huge to you. This thing looks like when they were talking about the Fomorians being giants, like they were giants. You can only imagine what the city on the other side of this gate used to look like, but you can tell there's no way even to get in there. It's in absolute ruins. The gate is like this old, like, ornate drawbridge thing that has just like caved in on itself, and craggy shards of crystal jut through the old archway, pouring water into a lake at the bottom of it. But as the cavern opens up around this corner, the wall heads to the west again. With that, the party, I assume, continues to head west using the information that Anakur got from his plant friend, and after about another 2 hours of walking, finally find the staircase that was mentioned to you, that heads to the north above.
Stepping up onto the staircase, Valencia says a prayer thank you to Titan and Auron.
I say thank you to the Root Network.
I just hop and begin walking up the stairs.
The stairs.
I start playing Stairway to Heaven on my harp.
Alright, so you all ascend the stairs then?
Yep.
Alright. Everybody, if you'd be so kind as to type in /r space 1D100 for me.
I don't like the sound of this.
Alright. Valin, give me a Constitution save. Very cool. Alright. So as you all begin to ascend this staircase, the burbling rot of the water above fades away behind you to the roar of like waterfalls cascading down over the surface of the dome of this cavern above, and into the ocean below. You single file make your way up this like tiny tunnel of a staircase. You know, it's like one of those staircases you do in Minecraft, kind of like where it's like one person can go up or down it at a time, but like if you look up, it's like all the way to the top of the cavern. Just this massive cutout staircase through the wall as you ascend to the surface, and the evening light catches your eyes as the sun is like coming down over the edge of the disc world. You can actually see it as it skirts down behind the head of the last Fomorian, a large gray giant that rests upon the northern edge of the world. The mountains that you have just passed under are actually his arms, as you see them stretch back to the horizon and meet up with his shoulders. This creature is massive. But as you're all ascending, time catches up with you all, as everything whips and whirls, as memories of your time at the circus come back, teaching Auron things, like visiting her house, some of you tending her garden, eating meals, as if you spent those years with her, even though it was 4 months for you all at this point. that you all have now aged. And 4 months have passed in the world above as you reach the surface. But as you're ascending, all of you sort of like feel it as it like pangs through your body. You fight off the feelings of like exhaustion, tiredness, then too much energy, and it's almost like you're like going through the days. Reality whips around you, melting and regrowing and coming back together, and finally you're all on the ground outside as you sort of suffer like the bends, but from time. The only one of you that it seems to really affect is Valin, as she sort of like fights it really hard. You see her like in the fetal position on the ground, sort of like wincing in pain.
I've done enough hallucinogens to know how to ride this.
Like, yeah.
Valin's just my way.
Are you okay? I'll run up to Valin and
I think I'm gonna be sick. She puts her hand over her mouth and yeah.
If Valin starts vomiting, I'm gonna start vomiting.
I think I'll be okay though. Just whiplash so suddenly. She
I'm good.
closes her eyes and tries to do some breathing exercises.
I'd drink a little bit of water. Wait, if 4 months have passed, Valin, your weed is dry.
Yeah.
She opens up her bag.
It's all actually hanging
That
off.
would be the dankest opening in the world. People are going to smell us for days. What are you doing? There's a